guys, welcome back to my channel. I have today's look is a green smoky eye, which is the look that I have on right in this second. I'd just like to start this video by saying a huge thank you to everybody who commented on my previous tutorial. It took me quite a while to actually get the guts to upload it, but I'm really pleased with the comments and the response that I got from it. So thank you to absolutely everybody who watched it, who took the time to listen to me and what I had to say, and all the comments were absolutely lovely. So yeah, thank you very much to all of you guys, and if you'd like to see how I did this look, then please keep watching. Okay, so to start off, I'm going to be using the Revolution Ultra Face Base Primer. This is a 24-hour makeup protection wear primer. I didn't get 24 hours out of my last wear with this, which is really disappointing, but to be honest, Revolution is an absolutely amazing brand, but I don't feel as though they're up there with the kind of high-end brands that I think really do the trick. So this is absolutely fine for your kind of daytime look, where you just want to go out, go shopping, and then come home and then take it all off and get your sweatpants and chill out, which is what I do pretty much all the time, which is great. So yes, I'm just going to apply some of this on the back of my hand. It's quite gel-like consistency. It's not really thick and it hasn't got any pigment to it at all. It's literally just completely clear, which is actually quite good. I don't really feel the need to wear primer that's going to have any kinds of coloration in it, just because I wear so much foundation anyway. I really don't feel as though it's necessary. I skipped moisturising today, guys, just because I don't really want to add moisture to my face at the minute. It's quite oily, and where I've not been well at all recently, but you fight on and you get through it, and yeah, with a little bit of moaning, you'll be fine. Okay. So now that is done, I'm going to go ahead and probably do my eyebrows, only because I am going to be going for quite a full-on eyeshadow look today, guys. I'm really excited about using this combination. I'm doing mainly a combination of green tones and cool tones, so I'm going to kind of mix around with a few products, and hopefully at the end it'll be worth it and it will look really good. I am going to be doing my eyebrows off camera, guys. In my last tutorial I did try and do them on camera, but I just failed completely, so I do apologise for that. But yeah, I'm trying to do some clips. I will do a tutorial at some point where you can see in full detail what I do with my eyebrows, but just at the minute I'm practising. But I will get there, guys, I will get there, I promise you. Just right now it's just more hassle than it's worth. Voila! I have eyebrows, which is great. Right, so now that I have my eyebrows on, I will be going on to my eyes, hence why I've zoomed you in a little bit, guys. I hope you can see properly. I'm going to go ahead with my Courtney palette now. We talked about it before. It's like a really nice orangey kind of peachy shade, but it's brilliant for transition. It's just fantastic. Right, so I'm going to take a little bit of that product on my, this is my Real Techniques brush. It's the Deluxe Crease brush. I'll pop a picture in now for you. I'm just going to go ahead and take this colour and just pop it on the crease. I'm just going to ever so slightly blend that out and focus it mainly on the outer corner of my eye. I'm using really small circular motions, but then as the product begins to kind of go on a little bit better, I will be buffing it out a little bit more and making the circles a little bit larger each time. Ta-da! Right, so now I am going ahead with my, I'm not going to be doing anything really precise. I absolutely love smoky eyes. I did a smoky eye on my last tutorial, and yeah, I was really pleased with how it turned out. So although this is going to be a little bit of a mixture, a little bit of an experiment, I'm pretty sure it should hopefully turn out okay. So I'm going to be using my Dazzle Dust. It's the green shade, and I'll pop a picture in right now. for you. This is a really, really beautiful shade. It's really, really light green. It's kind of like almost like a mint green, but it's really, really, it's such a fine dust. I found the Barium Delta Dust are so good. Don't get me wrong, you have such bad fallout with these products. They are really, really terrible for that. Which obviously, if that's something that you're not over keen on, then I don't recommend these products at all. But in terms of the pigment, they are absolutely fantastic. So if you're not bothered with a little bit of fallout, then they are the go ahead. I would highly recommend using these products. So I'm just going to take one of my Real Techniques brushes. I can't even remember what this brush is called, but I will look it up for you and I will put a picture in right about now for you. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this brush and I'm just going to lightly dab it into the product. You do not need a lot of this, guys. As I say, you do have a lot of fallout with these, so I don't recommend going ahead and sticking your brush right into it, because otherwise you will end up with Delta Dust literally everywhere. So I'm just going to go ahead with this colour and pop it right onto the lid. It's a really, really lovely shade. I'm mainly focusing this on the lash line, but I'm going to go ahead and blend it into that transition shade that we just used. But for now, I'm just literally popping this on really, really gently. I'm going to go into the inner corner, not towards my tear duct. I'm going to leave that empty so that I could use some highlighter and pop that in there. But yeah, I'm just mainly focusing this just on the lid. I've got about halfway just past my pupil, if you can see, because I will be placing a darker green shade just towards here, just to accentuate that kind of cat eye look. So I'm going to leave that on there just for now. My next product is actually it's from Makeup Obsession. It's the same brand of products and eyeshadows that I got in my Courtney palette. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use this shade, and I'm going to take my another one of my Real Techniques brushes. This is the base shadow brush, and I'm just going to be applying this just on that outer corner just to darken up the edges a little bit more. Just placing that on ever so gently, and then I will be going ahead and I will be blending those two together a little bit more. Don't worry too much if your crease line is a little bit messy for now, because we will be going back in. I have such a bad cold. We will be going ahead and cleaning that up shortly, so do not worry too much if it's a little bit messy for now, because we will be resolving that issue. Okay, so once that colour is actually on and in place where you would like it to be, I am going to go ahead with my transition colour brush that we used, if I can find it. Where is it? Oh. Okay, now that I have my brush, I am going to take this brush. I'm not going to put any colour on it, any product. I'm literally just going to use the excess that was on it previously, and I'm just going to buff this all together and blend it out a little bit more. Okay, so once that is blended as much as you kind of want to, guys, you can be as fussy as you like with these kind of smoky eyes. That's what's so great about them. You can blend for Britain or America or wherever you come from, or you can just leave it really kind of precise. It's completely down to you. You do not have to be particular with this look whatsoever. So lastly, I am going to go ahead and take the same brush that we used for that kind of khaki kind of look that we just put on in the outer crease, and focusing this shade on the very, very outer corner. I'm not using a lot of product at all because they are pretty pigmented, as I said in my previous tutorial. You do not need a lot with this. I'm just going to darken it up just that tad more, just to kind of make it a little bit more smoky. Okay, so now that is in place where I'd like it to be, I'm going to go ahead once again and use my transition brush and just blend that all together. Please, I am so sorry it's happened once again, but my camera crashed and died halfway through doing my eyes. I do apologise. This seems to be a routine of mine at the minute, so hopefully, fingers crossed, on my next tutorial it will not happen, otherwise I'll be very, very angry. However, what I done was, all I done was I took my Real Techniques brush, this is the base shadow brush, and I just took the darkest shade in my Courtney palette, which is the black shade, and I just darkened up the corner ever so slightly. I just placed it right in the very outer corner of my eye and buffed it in towards the inner corner. And then what I done was I took a flat top brush and I just dipped it into the same shades, and I just applied this very, very closely to my lash line just to give that kind of fuller look where you do not need to wear eyelashes, but it gives you like a nice kind of smoky but fuller eyelash look. Right, so now that we are back on track, guys, I am going to go ahead and do my face. So I've been using a combination of foundations at the minute, which you are aware of on my last tutorial. Check that out please if you haven't already. But what the combination is it's the combination of the Maybelline Fit Me foundation. I'm in the shade 115. This is the matte and poreless foundation. It's really, really, really good if you've got oily skin. I highly recommend it. It does last all day, which is absolutely fantastic. It's not full coverage, and there are a lot of other foundations on the market that do offer a much more fuller coverage look to them. However, I do apply a lot of powder on my face on top of that as well, so I do not feel the need to have a really, really high full coverage unless I'm doing a look that doesn't require powder on top. Right, so I'm going to go ahead and take that Fit Me foundation, and I'm just going to apply this into dots around the rest of my face. So now that that shade is done, I'm just going to go ahead and use the Revlon Photo Ready Airbrush Effect Foundation. This is a very, very good foundation. However, airbrush to me does scream full coverage. Now this foundation to me, unfortunately, is not full coverage in my personal opinion. However, if you've used this before and you've used it with a few different products and you've found that it does give you the thicker complexion that you're after, please let me know down below, because I would love to try out a few different things to use with this foundation that will give me a fuller coverage. But for the time being, I do like to use this with the mixture of the Fit Me foundation, just because it gives me that perfect shade, and it isn't too thick, but it also gives me an okay amount of coverage. So I am in the shade Ivory, which I believe is one of the lightest shades that you can get. I think there's one more that's lighter than this, but yeah, I'm in the shade Ivory, so if you'd like to know what it is, go check it out. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply this in a similar kind of way and just do the dotting effect. So to buff this all together, I am going to be using my my beauty blender. I don't use damp beauty blenders, only because with these particular types of foundation, they are quite liquidy, so I don't feel the need to have a damp beauty blender, only because I am quite oily as it is anyway, and this is not to be a dewy look. If I was doing a dewy look or a glowy look, then I might consider having a damp sponge. But for this look, I'm not after that kind of effect, so I am just going to use a dry beauty blender. This is the Real Techniques one. They are brilliant. There are a lot of other sponges on the market that actually do offer you a more kind of softer application, but with this one it's absolutely fine. It fits in exactly where you need it to. I think these are around, I think I paid £8 for 2 of those, which isn't actually that bad. I know there are cheaper brands out there, as there are more expensive brands out there, but for me this one is perfect. Okay, so now that that is all done, I am going to go ahead and I'm just going to brighten up the underneath of my eyes and do a little bit of highlighting. I'm not going to be doing a lot of contouring and highlighting for this look, just because I mainly want the focus to be on the eye area, so I do not want that kind of really, really crisp look. However, if you do want me to do a look using a kind of more crispy, using more of a defined contour, then please let me know and I'll get right onto that. So to highlight the underneath of my eyes, I will be using the Collection 2000 Lasting Perfection Ultimate Wear Concealer. I am in the shade 1, which is fair. I do believe this is their lightest shade, so unfortunately if you are paler than me, this will work absolutely fine, but there are a few shades that are darker than this, which would be brilliant for contouring, but just for this I'm going to be using it to highlight the underneath of my eye area. So again, just with my beauty blender, I'm just going to go ahead and dab that in. Okay, so now that we have done that step, I'm just going to go ahead and set the underneath of my eyes. Unfortunately, I cannot show you the product that I used to do this because I dropped it on the floor, and it's literally smashed absolutely everywhere, which was quite heartbreaking. It's my favourite powder is the Maybelline Fit Me powder. I am actually in the shade 125. So I'm just going to go ahead with my contour brush from Real Techniques. This is part of their limited edition range. I'm not sure if you can get that anymore, but if you can, then brilliant. Please check them out. They are fantastic. Okay, so now that that is all set, I am going to go ahead and I'm just going to cover my blemishes that I have with my concealer. I am going to conceal today with the Maybelline Fit Me concealer. Maybelline Fit Me is absolutely brilliant. If you've noticed that I have used their powder, their concealer and their foundation, and they work absolutely lovely together. I'm in the shade 15. There is 2 shades I believe that are available in the UK, which is a 10 and a 15. They are quite different from each other. So if you do have a paler complexion like me, I would say that the 15 would be perfect for you. If not, then you could always pick up the 10, or you can mix them together. It's completely up to you. So I'm just going to take a little bit of the product on my finger, and I'm just going to place it in the areas that I do have a little bit of blemish, or that my skin is showing a little bit more through. Okay, so now that that step is done, I am going to go ahead and I'm just going to take the same powder that we used to set the underneath of the eyes, and I'm just going to go ahead and apply that to the rest of my face. So now that that is all done, I am going to go ahead and finish my eyes now and do the underneath of my lash line. I'm going to go ahead with my Makeup Obsession, the khaki colour that we used on the second part of the eyes, just on the middle there. I'm just going to take that on the same brush that we used for the outer corner, and I'm just going to go ahead and collect a little bit of the product and apply it to the bottom lash line. So once that is smoked out to however much you would like it, I'm just going to go ahead and take my mascara, and I'm just going to apply a few coats of that to my bottom lash line. So to brighten the eyes that little bit more, I'm going to go ahead with my white eyeliner. I believe this is called Soft Coal. This is a Rimmel London eyeliner. I'm just going to take that and I'm just going to apply it to my waterline. It just brightens them up that tad bit more. Okay, so the eyes are finished now. I'm just going to go ahead and apply some blusher. I'm not going to contour today just because I don't want the focus to be on the rest of my face. I'd like it to be on my eyes. I absolutely love this blusher. It is pretty much the only one that I actually have right now that I feel like is great for my skin tone. This is the Africa palette by W7. And I'm going to take that on my Real Techniques buffing brush. Again, this is from their limited range. Okay, so next step is one of my favourite steps out of doing my entire makeup tutorial, is the highlight. Now for highlights I will be using a new product. I did use it in my previous tutorial, and I have talked about it quite a lot on my Instagram, which you can follow me. It's at Courtney. I'm using the Goddess of Love Goddess of Love. I will be using the Goddess of Love Triple Baked Highlighter. A lot of people say that with baked highlighters, I believe you're meant to use them wet. However, this look, I do believe, because it's a triple baked, you really do not need this wet at all. You can just apply this just how it is, and it gives you that instant glowy, shimmery, lovely look that you're after. So for this, I am going to be using a Real Techniques brush as always. This is the angled highlighter brush. This is probably the only brush that I actually use for what it's meant to be for. So I'm just going to go ahead and take a little bit of that product, and I'm going to start highlighting with it. It's so shiny! I absolutely love this. Okay, what I am going to do actually is I'm going to take a little bit of the same highlight, and I'm just going to take that on my my middle finger, and I'm just going to apply a little pop of colour towards the inner ash line. Oh my god. I'm just going to go ahead with that same highlighter, and I'm just going to go ahead with that same highlighter shade actually, and I'm just going to apply a little bit with my fingertip, and I'm just going to put that in my inner corner. Okay, so with that done, the last bit of this tutorial is lips. I haven't really been wearing a lot of my lips at the moment, just because they are quite dry, and I'm trying to sort of just Vaseline them every day and just scrub them and exfoliate them daily. So I have not actually been wearing a lot of my lips at the moment at all. What should I use? Okay, so for lips, I am actually just going to be using a nice sort of nude shimmery lip gloss just to add to the highlight of my face, and it's called the Sexy Mother Pucker. It's the Soap and Glory Lip Plumper. They do have a few different lip plumpers in the Soap and Glory range. I do find that this one is the best shade. I believe they have one that's sort of less plumpery than this, and then they do have the XXL, which is absolutely brilliant. But I just like this shade. I think it's really, really lovely. It's natural and it just applies lovely. It is quite sticky. That is the only thing that I would say that kind of puts me off about it a little bit, because it's you've got jam. It is quite sticky, which unfortunately is something that I do not actually like in lip glosses. I do not like that kind of really sticky, jammy lip. However, just for the fact that it's a really, really lovely shade, I just apply a tiny bit of this, and you do not need much at all, and I think it looks lovely. Okay, so this is the finished look, guys. So So I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I shall be back next week with some more lovely looks for you guys. If you do have a recommendation, or if you would like me to do a specific look, then please comment on the boxes below and I'll get right to it. I will try my best to reply to all of you. But in the meantime, love, bye! It does give me that kind of middle, medium kind of medium. Does okay, so now that that is done, I'm just going to I keep stumbling today. Mainly focused.